What's up, fellow dungeon delvers? It is I, the non-stop fountain of nonsense that is the OG GM, broadcasting from Site B at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 25th day of July in the year of our Lord John Cena. And we're sort of responding to this video series that my friend DM Bloodworth, one of my oldest OSR friends, has made about traps. And he starts with talking about, somebody said something about what do you do if players avoid traps? And my response was, let them. That's really sort of the point, is to see what new, interesting, clever ways they come up with to avoid traps. Traps are there to be circumvented. That's literally the whole reason. 80% of the thief's job is coming up with ways to disarm the traps. And if they want to invest time in talking about it and role-playing and saying things like, yeah, I remember that bench we saw 3 rooms back. I'm going to go grab that bench, lean it over so we could walk across the trap and not set it off. That's great. If they want to invest that much time and energy to role-playing how they do it, great, reward them. If they don't, if they're more just mechanical players, and like my thief rolls disarm trap, I rolled a 23, I've got a 55%. Let them do that too. At least they're engaging. But then he went on to say, the question is not what do you do if they come up with clever ways to avoid fights and traps, is what do you do if they don't engage, if they never, quote unquote, leave town? And then, of course, the answer would be, well, then why are you playing this game? Town can't be that interesting, unless it is a town specifically designed to adventure in. We all love Hamlet, but Hamlet's not that big and there's not much going on. And if you never, ever deal with the stuff that's going on outside of Hamlet, what are you going to do? After a week, even Waterdeep and Freeport, and I ran an 8-year-long campaign based in and around Freeport, and they've rarely left the town. But if they choose not to engage, then, how exciting is that going to be for them? I don't know. Maybe that's what they want, which I would then question, okay, guys, what is it you want from the game? Because obviously leaving town, going to explore is not interesting to you. That's the whole point of session 0, is to figure out what it is they want to interact with when they start playing in the world, and you telling them, well, these are the things that might happen to you. This is the scenario, whether we're going through a module like, Storm King's Thunder, or we're just, sandboxing it and I'm but if they're all they want to do is hang out in town, then I don't know. There's probably tabletop role-playing games built around that. And I know there's dozens of board games built around city building and city sims. So, hey, play a board game, play Carcassonne, play Catan, play Kingdom Builder. There's tons of board games. That way the DM doesn't have to bring all his crap to the game. The players don't have to bring all their crap to the game. You can play Carcassonne or some other city simulator for an hour or two. Everybody's happy. You can maybe do a little silly voices to get some token RPG in, whatever. More importantly, the kernel is what to do if they don't want to leave town because they don't want to engage in the adventure, because they don't want to be part of the adventure. And the obvious solution is bring the adventure to them. Or make the town so boring that they don't want to stay, or have the NPC adventurers do what they were supposed to do. So when the NPC adventurers return, all the city's talking about them. No one's paying attention to the player characters, okay? So there's 3 different ways to handle this. They don't want to engage in the world, and that is bring the world to them, bring the world to them, or bring the world to them. And of course, then we would be like, well, what if they just stay in the town and start killing the NPCs and stealing their stuff? Let them. Let them see how unproductive it is. Oh, I want to kill the barkeep. Okay, he's dead. Do I need to roll? No, dude is a 0-level schlub with 1 hit point. You kill him, and then just spiral on there. I want to rob the store and take his stuff. Great. You have whatever is on this list. What are you going to do with it? Because now you've got a whole bunch of shit you stole. Now you're developing a reputation of a murderer. Nobody else in town's going to want to deal with you. If you kill them, great. Okay. You know what? It'd probably take you 20 minutes to kill the entire town. There's 150 people. All of them are 0 level. Even the town wizard can maybe knock off 1 magic missile before the 8 of you slaughter him. Great. You've completely killed everybody in the town. Now what? Meanwhile, the NPC adventurers who actually did what you were supposed to do come back. They're all 5th level now and have gear. They see that you've killed everybody in the town. They go after you. More importantly, wanted posters start to appear around the kingdom. Other adventuring parties start to hear about these adventurers who went evil and killed an entire town, decide to come after you. The bad guys hear about these guys who took over the town, and they're like, hey, we either need to make these guys work with us, or we need to take these guys out because they're a danger to our evil plans, or because the player characters never did what they were supposed to do, the evil bad guy wins, and he's like, well, I got the Orb of Dragonkind now. I guess I can succeed. I really thought some adventurers were going to show up and try and stop me, but nope. Bring the adventure to them, or make the NPC adventuring party do what they should have done. So when the adventuring party comes back, they're jealous. And then they're like, oh, we should kill them and take their stuff. And you're like, go ahead. You 1st level schlubs can take on a bunch of 5th level adventurers who've already done it. You know, point is, staying in town is boring, and it should be boring unless you are running a city specific campaign. If you're running Waterdeep or Freeport, or, you know, here's an obscure one, Invincible Overlord, or any city setting that is designed to be the campaign setting, then you've got a million of things for them to do. And if they still don't want to do that, great. Okay, I mean, I can't, this is what we agreed to run. If you don't want to play that, if you just want to play out your scenario of you getting a job as a barkeep, great. Okay, here's what happens. You go to the bar, you ask for the job. The barkeep asks if you have any experience. No. Okay, you can wash tables until you get experience. Great. That's what my characters always wanted to do. Okay, great. What about the rest of you? Okay, you just all want to get jobs and stay in town and have families and do this whole thing. Great. Okay, that happens. You get a job, you get a job, you get a job, you get your 1 copper piece a week for working the job. You generally, after a couple years, work your way up the corporate ladder. Now you own the bar, your wife and kids and whatever in the town. And yeah, okay, that took me 10 minutes. I'm so glad I wasted all this time designing the adventure. Or how about I just bring a board game next week, since you guys obviously don't want to role play? I don't know, man. But going back to the original concept, cycling all the way back, what to do if the players find clever ways to avoid the traps? Let them. What to do if the players find clever ways to avoid the encounters in the dungeon? Let them. Okay, the monetary rewards might not be as high, but you're still going to get EP. You're still going to show how clever you are. You're still going to show that you're engaging in interesting ways to overcome the obstacles. It can be as simple as, oh, there's a pit trap, we walk around it. Or as complex as we have to come up with a very convoluted series of disguises and lies and whatever to get past these orcs, to get to the next thing we know. And how, is somebody going to get distracted by the glowing thing on that orc's head? So yeah, let them. If they want to avoid, let them. As long as they're engaging, avoiding the trap is engaging in the world. Avoiding the combat is engaging in the world. Finding new and clever ways to circumvent the situation is part of engaging in the world. If they just want to sit there and twiddle their thumbs and not engage at all and have their characters never leave town, let them. Just go, fine, okay, we're done, great. You can just sit down, never leave. I'm so glad I wasted all this time and energy creating this adventure. I wish I knew ahead of time that this is what you guys wanted to do. You just want to do a city sim where you guys just live out your normal, everyday, boring lives. Great, let's get a city sim. How about Arkham Horror? But I don't know. Apparently, I'm a mediocre idiot. So you tell me what you think. What is your solution to player characters choosing not to engage in the game? Because I would think the solution to player characters coming up with clever ways to avoid traps is to reward them. I would think the solution to player characters coming up with creative ways to avoid combat is to reward them. Hey, you avoided that army of orcs. You saved the town. No blood was lost. Wonderful. Great. You move the campaign forward. You've engaged. But if they're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs and not wanting to engage in the world at all, well, I would suggest having that conversation yet again. What is it you guys wanted? Because apparently you didn't want to go to the Temple of the Sandwich King. And if they say this is what we wanted, either find the role-playing game that emulates that, because there's plenty of comfy RPGs out there that do emulate that, or get a board game off the shelf. Hey, City Sim board game? Here's a board game about going through a city. It's called Arkham Horror. Do you guys want to try that? Let me know what you're thinking. DM Bloodworth, respect. Talk to y'all later. Have a great day. It looks like it's going to be hazy but sunny and warm here at Site B. So, yeah, that's about it. What do you think? Any input? Do you even care? I'll talk to y'all later. Remember, stay warm, stay safe, stay dry, stay liquidated, and stay the F off my land, you damn nerds.